Hello everyone, I am here to record a lecture on VLSI technology. The course code is KEC 053. I am Pragya Srivastava, EC department, AKGC Ghaziabad. In my previous lecture, we have studied the concept of diffusion. Here we see that in this diffusion and ion implantation, we have studied the introduction, and we have studied the quick difference between diffusion and ion implantation. One is high temperature reaction, and another is carried at low temperature. We can see one is having isotropic geometry, and here we can see it is that is isotropic. This is anisotropic. That is the diffusion across the side walls is 0. Another is cannot independently control the dopant concentration. Here we can control the concentration and the junction depth. Now we have several kinds of diffusion. So first we were discussing what is interstitial diffusion and what is substitutional diffusion. In interstitial diffusion, the lattice remains unchanged and a foreign atom comes and enter, like here, like here. So in substitution, what is happening here is the previously existing parent molecule. So this is parent silicon molecule. This will remain at its place, and the foreign molecule will come and it will hit it. It will knock it out of the lattice, creating a vacancy, and in that vacancy the dopant atom will enter. So this is actually substitution. Next one is the mix of two. So mix of two means interstitial substitution diffusion. So first what is happening is that previously there was a we can say there was a substitution. Substitution means the parent silicon atom was moved out, and it was the dopant molecule was taking a place which was nothing but the place of vacancy. Now, so here we can see that the lattice is same. Now what is happening? What is this? This already existing molecule is coming and entering into the spaces which is in between. So the combination of two can be seen here, that it is the other way around. That like first it is entering the lattice, making an extra space other than the lattice. Now it is kicking out. So it is diffusion by dissociative mechanism, diffusion by kick-off mechanism. So what is it doing? It is entering and now it is kicking off the silicon atom. Here what is it? It is entering into the lattice, then it is like dissociative mechanism. Dissociative means it is entering and then it is leaving the lattice and making a vacancy here. We can see that no atom is there. So next is what is the law of diffusion? So based on analogy between the material transfer in a solution and heat transfer by conduction, we have this relation which says that J is equal to minus negation of d Cxt by dou x. Now what is it? J is rate of transfer of solute per unit area or diffusion flux. And what is C? C is concentration of solute, that is it is a function of x and t only. Next is what is x? It is the coordinate axis in the direction of solute flow. Time is the diffusion time, t is the diffusion time, d is defined as diffusivity or diffusion constant. So how we can relate this particular law into a statement? The local rate of transfer of solute per unit time, per unit area. So this is what we are calling rate of transfer of solute per unit area, per unit time, is proportional to the concentration gradient of the solute and defines the proportionality constant as diffusivity. Now it is this. So here we can see that they are telling that 6x by t del x is proportional to concentration gradient or the rate of transfer of solute. Now we are putting the diffusivity constant, which is this d. So the negative sign shows that the flow towards lower concentration of solute. So what is happening from higher to lower? So presently we are moving into an area where the concentration is lower. So it is minus times. Limitation of Fick's law. Though it describes diffusion process accurately, but it has no convenient measure of current density of the impurity. And what is the second? The second law developed to describe the concept with more readily measurable quantities. Now, what is it? We see that when total diffusion source concentration is fixed or for constant diffusivity, the solution for constant diffusivity is done in three variations. First is constant surface concentration, second is constant dopant, and next is sheet resistance for diffused layer. Next, so here I want to specify the curve and the relationship between the junction depth and X and the impurity concentration. So I want to rewrite it like what is happening inside it. I am going to draw this. So let's say we are starting this. Here we can see that this curve 1, 2 and 3, let's say we are talking about time instant T0, then T1, then T2. So let's say T0 is the time when we are starting the process. So at T0, let's say this is the silicon dioxide layer. So at T0, the layer is just this. So we can see that at T0, the depth, the junction depth is, let's say this is the required depth. So the junction depth is only 1 nm. So this is like we have just started. So this is T0, just started, and the concentration here is for time 2, the concentration is highest. Now what is happening is, let's say we are increasing for time is equals to T2. So for time is equals to T2, this junction depth has increased from 1 nanometer to 5 nanometer. Now for another time like T3, it has increased from 5 nanometer till 10 nanometer. Now another thing, it has a relation of N0 ERFC function of x divided by 2 root over D3 T3. So here T3 is the time and D3 is the diffusion constant. Next, what is the analytical solution to Fick's law? So solution for constant diffusivity is done in 3 varieties. First is constant surface concentration, next is constant total dopant, and next is sheet resistance of diffused layer. So what is actually happening? Surface dopants fall with time while dopant goes deeper. So what is happening is, as and when the junction depth is increasing, so the surface dopant, like the amount of dopant present at the surface and the concentration will fall. Next is drive in diffusion. Initial amount of impurity, that is QT, is introduced in wafer and diffused with boundary condition that QT is fixed. So this is the analytical solution. Next is, we can see that the methods of diffusion. So first is pre-deposition dose control, and next is drive in, that is profile junction profile control, that is one of the process where we can control the junction depth, and we can see that the junction depth concentration is controlled. So we can see that here we have dopant diffusion. What is actually happening is, we are allowing a dopant gas to enter, and we can see pre-deposition dose control. So we have a control over the amount of dose or the amount of dopant which we are going to add. So as soon as we see that we have to add only a sufficient amount of dopant gas, so we have a previous dose control method, and we have previously decided the quantity and the amount of dose which is needed for diffusion. So dopant gas is entering, and here we can see we have successfully grown this layer. Now next is profile control junction depth concentration. Now here, turn off dopant gas or seal surface with oxide. Here we can see that as and when we have achieved the required diffusion layer, and now we want no more diffusion to take place, we have sealed it or we have locked it. Now using this lock, we have locked this, we can see. Using this lock, now we cannot add any more amount of silicon dioxide. So it is actually turning off the diffusion process. So pre-deposition by diffusion can also be replaced by a shallow implantation step. Next we can see that we have a similar curve, but this time we are having the impurity distribution on constant total dopant. So previously the dopant, the amount of the foreign molecule which we were adding was not controlled. So here we can see that the area inside the all three curves, let's say this be curve 1, let me use a different color, let me have this one. So here this is the area, this is the second curve, and the black one is the first one, and now I am going to discuss the third one. So the third one is this one. So we can see here, so when the we have the constant dopant, so the area inside all three curves, that is 1, 2 and 3, will remain same. So let us talk about the diffusion profile. So at T is equals to T1, let's say we are just starting, so it is only this, okay. So let's say it is 1 nano. So at this, the concentration, like we have just, when the process of diffusion is just started, the concentration is maximum, and what is happening at the boundary? At the boundary, the concentration is maximum. So at T equals to T2, we can see it has come here. So the concentration is falling at T's at what I'm trying to say is that at T equals to 0, it is highest concentration at the boundary. So when the time is advancing, the concentration is falling at the edge and it is universally dispersing throughout the range of 2 nanometer. So the concentration is uniformly distributed throughout the range of 2 nanometer. So let's say at T equals to 3, we are at 5 nanometer. So here at T equals to 3, that is 5 nanometer, again the concentration and the dopant are spread about a range of 5 nanometer. So the diffusion should happen in a way so that the concentration is not only limited at the boundary, but it spreads all throughout the lattice. So here it has spread all throughout the lattice. So, and again this is a simpler curve where we can see that the previous curve, here the concentration is on the logarithmic scale, and we can realize it using a Gaussian distribution, and particularly the curve which we are seeing here is a boron diffusion and having n-type silicon background. So we are p-type Gaussian diffusion is being carried out. So in a substrate which is actually n-type. So the substrate is n-type and the well which we are creating here is boron p-type boron. and of course the concentration on the vertical axis, y-axis, we have impurity concentration on the logarithmic scale. Again, we have one more temperature related mathematical model for achieving what is diffusivity constant and what is diffusivity. The common dopant change with temperature. So for Arrhenius formula, we have D, that is diffusivity, is equal to D naught e raised to the power minus EA divided by KT. So here D naught is diffusivity constant, EA is activation constant, and D naught and EA define diffusivity for most impurities. EA is related to energy of motion and energy of formation of defect impurity complexes. So of course, we have to see what is diffusion in silicon dioxide. So silicon dioxide is used for insulation and as a barrier to many of the impurity diffusions. Arsenic diffusivity in silicon dioxide depends on anneal ambient. A nitrogen diffusivity has higher than in oxygen. In concentration which are above 5 into 10 raised to the power 20 per cubic centimeter was found to be immobile. So we have antimony based diffusivity in nitrogen and dry oxygen. So diffusivity of antimony in wet oxygen is given by 3.7 times 10 raised to the power minus 11 centimeter square per second e raised to the power minus 1.32 electron volt per kg. And also, so this is diffusivity in N2 and O2, and this is diffusivity in wet oxygen, where it is equal to 1.2 into 10 raised to the power minus 7 centimeter square per second e raised to the power minus 2.25 electron volt per kT. So again, we have to see diffusion in silicon dioxide. Boron diffusion in silicon dioxide, we have to study features. So boron diffuses substitutionally, so there is no interstitial diffusion here. Nitrogen reduces boron diffusivity by increasing the diffusion activation energy. So nitrogen is incorporated into most gate oxide to prevent boron to diffuse from p-type polycrystalline gate electrode to the channel of PMOS devices. If B diffuses into the channel, the threshold voltage changes and it degrades oxide reliability, and also hydrogen increases boron diffusivity in silicon dioxide. So this was all about diffusion. We have studied how diffusion takes place in detail. Now in my next lecture we will start with ion implantation. Thank you.